Hello, and welcome to the Cryptocurrency News channel. We're going to talk about this Binance lawsuit. This particular article is from Bloomberg, but it's been reported several times, and it is not the SEC that is trying to enforce against Binance. It is actually the CFTC that is actually trying to enforce against Binance. And the big question actually is, did they allow Americans to actually buy derivatives or futures products since they're not actually registered with the CFTC? That would actually be a violation of law. Now, here's the thing. Binance.com, since I think like a year or two ago, has actually said US residents cannot actually use Binance.com. They have to use Binance.us, which is more restrictive and does not have all the coins or services that Binance.com actually has. So the thing is, if they see that your IP address is the US or that you've done the KYC in your US, they will actually shut you off of Binance.com. Now, you could register an account, use a VPN, and get around that, and they have no way to tell where you're from. But it is my opinion that if a user actually does that, that is the user's fault and not Binance's fault, because they are basically taking extra steps and using extra software to trick Binance into thinking they are not from the United States, and it is very, very difficult for Binance to know. The only way that Binance could solve that is to require KYC for everyone, and that kind of relies on people telling the truth as well. Now, am I against KYC for everyone just to use Binance? No, I am actually not. I'm actually for KYC for everyone. But that may not be the best course of action for Binance. They've already implemented where if you've done KYC and you say you're from the US, you can't use it. And even if you haven't done KYC, if your IP address is from the US, you can't use Binance. So based on those two things alone, I don't think Binance should be held accountable. It should be the user's fault if they actually try to trick Binance into thinking they're actually from the US and not Binance's fault. Because if you use a VPN, there's really no way for Binance to tell that you're using a fake IP address. It's very, very difficult. I guess they could actually block off people from using the various popular VPN services, but there is always a way to get around that. And when there's money involved, people will always find a way to get around it. So I actually don't believe that Binance actually should be held accountable for this. Because the thing is, they've already done their best, I believe, to actually basically filter out all the US users. And here's the thing. Even though they're being investigated, there has been no charges of wrongdoing yet. So they're just looking at what Binance is doing. Are they doing enough to ensure that US investors cannot actually buy these, I guess, derivative products that would actually be illegal in the US? As CZ has obviously said that they follow American rules completely and has strong controls to prevent its customers. But obviously they're not foolproof, as no control actually can be foolproof. And CZ says they'll actually continue to improve their compliance. Now, here's the thing. If you're still using Binance.us via VPN, I think it's pretty much time to stop, because they're going to put more and more controls on. Eventually, I think they're going to require almost everyone to do KYC, because that looks like that's the only way they'll actually be able to prevent themselves from being sued in the future. But they're going to do more and more to find out if you're actually from the US. And if they find out that you're from the US, they will just shut down your account and you will actually lose your holdings. So at the least, do not store if you're from the US, do not store any of your cryptocurrency on Binance.com. Use Binance.us. And I just definitely wouldn't use Binance.com either. I know several people say you can use it using a VPN, but with those restrictions that Binance is putting on, with the extra security they're going to be having, I think it's going to be more and more, more and more risky to actually use Binance.com via VPN if you're in the US. I've been against doing that from the beginning, but just another warning that you probably shouldn't do that, because they are cracking down on it, and the CFTC is cracking down on it too. I personally think, like I said, if you're using a VPN and accessing Binance.com, that should not be Binance's liability. That should be your fault. And if they go after anyone, it should actually be you and not Binance.com. So anyways, I hope Binance actually comes out pretty well. I think that they'll come out pretty well, actually, because of the measures they've actually put in. And I think it'll be even better than how Bitfinex has come out, because Bitfinex has basically come out fairly unscathed from all the Tether stuff. And I think Binance will come out even better, because Binance is more compliant than Bitfinex. So that is the news for today. Let me know what you think. Like and subscribe and hit that bell notifications button. Thank you and have a nice day.